Hello, my name is Corey Williams, and today I'm here to talk to you about the European debt crisis. The main crisis has arisen from the acronym PIGS, which I will go into further detail about later. I will start by discussing the European Union and how it applies, the PIGS acronym. I'll also talk about an excerpt from the novel Boomerang, Travels in the New Third World by Michael Lewis. I will continue after that by discussing George Papandreou and his current position in the Greek politician world. I will also discuss the two bailouts that have been given to Greece, the IMF, International Monetary Fund, and the ECB, European Central Bank bailouts. Lastly, I will touch about how this Eurozone crisis could affect you. So to begin, I will start by talking about the 27 countries that make up the European Union. These countries are most notably France, Germany, and the United Kingdom. There are many countries that have signed this Treaty of Lisbon, all 27. They all have a common goal, to support each other in the European Union. There are 10 countries in this union that use a currency besides the euro. One, for example, is the United Kingdom, which uses sterling pounds, and Denmark, which uses Danish krones. So the PIGS, in essential, are the 5 countries that are the bottom feeders of the Eurozone. So these 5 are Portugal, Ireland, Italy, Greece, and Spain. This picture here is a great metaphor for what these 5 countries are doing to the Eurozone, pushing the euro down the drain. Next, I would like to talk to you about an excerpt from Boomerang, Travels to the New Third World by Michael Lewis. Michael Lewis talks about the increasing wages that confront Greece right now. They have over $400 billion in government debt and over $800 billion in pensions. This totals to more than $1.2 trillion in total debt. Some of this debt rose from the 2004 Athens Summer Games, where they ran into an $11 billion net loss. This loss and their current financial struggles has started a nationwide chaos. Next, I'd like to talk about George Papandreou. George comes from a long line of leaders, being the 3rd politician from the family. He's being recently criticized for the amount of government spending and the 12.7% deficit. This deficit is a ratio from GDP to government deficit. The Treaty of Lisbon clearly states that no member of the European Union would have over a 3% deficit per year. This 12.7% deficit is over 4 times the yearly limit. And since Greece has recently elected a coalition government that would best represent its people in their direction as a country. Next, I'd like to talk about George Papandreou. George comes from a long line of leaders, being the 3rd politician from the family. He's being recently criticized for the amount of government spending and the 12.7% deficit. This deficit is a ratio from GDP to government deficit. The Treaty of Lisbon clearly states that no member of the European Union would have over a 3% deficit per year. This 12.7% deficit is over 4 times the yearly limit. And since Greece has recently elected a coalition government that would best represent its people in their direction as a country. There has currently been 2 Greek bailouts, both coming from the ECB and IMF. French and German banks have been supporting the majority of the debt that has been produced by Greece. There is a referendum that is coming out. This is a message from George Papandreou, the Prime Minister. The referendum will be a clear mandate and a clear message in and outside Greece on a European course and participation in the euro. So basically, they're sending around a survey to all the Greek civilians, asking them whether or not Greece should stay in the eurozone. This referendum is due to be back on December 4th. After that referendum, the European zone will decide whether or not Greece deserves another bailout or not. The Eurozone currently accounts for more than 20% of the global economy. So the failure to meet market predictions in the Eurozone could cause companies like GM, whose market share is 17% inside this Eurozone, they will have to take special precautions in order to reduce risk. In conclusion, I would like to explain some of my sources.